Hello, Clint here, Crimson Landscape, here to talk about your landscape and outdoor living design. Alrighty, so layouts and designs like yours is a part of the favorite things I like to do. The space is allocated perfectly for outdoor living, so you have a nice outdoor living space, and you have a nice yard that can be used for kids, play, future applications, etc. It's just a good delineation between the two. What I mean by that is clearly you have a nice location for your patio. So here's how I designed your patio. So you have kind of a landing space as you come out your back door here. Not a very effective space that can be used quite well for anything else. Maybe you can store your grill there. Maybe a couple chairs up there. I got a couple chairs up there. But that's about it because it's only 9 feet 6 inches wide. Then you have a pad here for an outdoor living space. Then you have an outdoor dining space. We certainly could add in a fire pit space. I can probably squeeze in a fire pit space here, or I can squeeze in a fire pit space over here. So we certainly could add that space if you wanted to. Don't know if it's needed for your application. Generally, we do try to add 3 spaces: a living, a dining, and a lounge, but not sure yours needs it. Then I also dedicated a walk space here along the house. It's kind of space along the house. It's not quite that usable. So it made sense that you have an allocated space to get to and from the gate and to this side of the yard. So your chair and your table and everything. Chairs, table, dining, sofa, couch, etc. all have permanent homes. The gaps in the concrete are called leave-outs. We can fill turf in the gaps, or we can do a gravel in the gaps. I did a gravel. We can do a river rock. There's a couple different options and cost. The reason I did it this way and the reason why I like the leave-outs is if we had one big giant concrete pad, let me pull a pad. I have one in here already made. If we had one giant concrete pad like this one, the disadvantage to having a concrete pad is concrete being that it's monolithic, one big pad, you have a higher risk of cracking versus if you have the individual Liberty pads and the gaps in the pads like you have on this one, the risk of cracking is lower because each pad itself has some flexibility and can move up and down. All concrete will eventually crack. We're just trying to do things that mitigate that cracking. I am not trying to talk you out of one big pad. It's just about risk mitigation. We're going to install it correctly, put the right number of joints in there, have the proper base in it to mitigate the risk of it, but risk is still risk at the end of the day. This solid concrete pad I did a pattern color, so like a light grayish pattern color. If we do a two-tone pattern color, you have to seal it. If we do a single color, you don't have to seal it, but I would recommend sealing it. And by sealing it, we actually put a top coat on it, and that top coat can be a little shiny, and it could be if you're walking on it on flip-flops, like cheap flip-flops, there's a risk of slipping. But this is one of our most popular designs. This layout right here is one of our most popular with the gaps. A solid concrete is cheaper than the one with the gaps because just imagine we're framing this up. We have to frame each individual little pad, so it takes extra time in framing. The advantage to this one is I can hide the drains inside these gaps. So I can put drains in here so water lands on it. We can put drains in there. You'd never see them there. And that way the concrete is quasi-level. It'll still have some tiny amount of slope to it, but nothing like if we put this pad in there. If we go with this pad, then I can put drains in the concrete like a drain here. I can put a drain here. Or if you don't want any drains, I can slope the concrete where it slopes all the way down and dumps into the yard. The problem with doing it that way is it's kind of a long run, so there's quite a bit of slope on your concrete, meaning the table is slightly uneven. So if it's me, I would go with this option with deck drain, or I would go with this preferred option with the leave-outs. I have turf on part of mine, then I have part that has the gravel, so it's just kind of a preference. All right, I think that's enough on the concrete. Let me go back to the area back here. Okay, so I did variegated liripe on both sides for a nice bright pop of color. We want something to do well in the shade, easy to maintain, low chance of rabbits eating them. I have the opal hollies here. I did a little ornate gravel thing here to kind of match the gravel. Then I did hydrangeas along the fence. Not the right color of hydrangea. I probably should have done a pink hydrangea because most of the hydrangeas that do well here are going to be pink. You can add acid to it and make it a bluish pink color. Or we could do like kind of a wedding dress white hydrangea. Has that slight yellowish tint to it, if you know what I mean. All right, then over here we have gravel. We can do turf over here if you wanted to, but most people just do gravel to save money because it's kind of dead space. Then the last bit of it is, let me go over to the last thing to show you, which is going to be lighting. There's a lighting, so let me go to the back door. Give me a second. There we go. So now I'm standing on your back patio. There you go. That's what it looks like. Okay, let me come back here. Turn around. There you go. You can see your TV on the wall. You got your lights over here. And over here I did a light for security if you wanted to. These lights are dimmable. They are color changing. So if you want blue mood lights, my lights are red, white, and blue. Or what I'll do is, like a couple of my highlight, like my really pretty trees I have in my backyard. I have like my crepe, not my crepe myrtle, but my Japanese maple. I have it lit up kind of a reddish color. Then I have a what else do I have? I have a lace bark elm that's lit up blue. So you can do stuff like that. Okay, let me go back to daylight and let me show you the space from ground level. Okay, there we go, there's ground level. All right, it's a pretty space. Maximize use of space for this space. Okay, let me pause there and see if you have any questions or feedback you want to send over. Next steps, I would say, is send your feedback. I can make changes, or we can set up a Zoom just to review the plan and walk through kind of high-level changes that you might want to make and pros and cons of everything. Then once we do that, then we price it. All right, if you're a first-time guest checking out one of our videos and you want more information, you can go to our website at crimsonlandscape.com.